he was here, then other players potentially can double up. And it's not such a dangerous position. When you go with the bigger diag that sort of comes all the way over the top into these types of pockets, then for fullbacks, they end up more isolated 1v1, and centre-backs stay central because their job becomes defend the box. And that, for Mo Salah, for me, makes it easier for him, because all he has to think of is, I need to just get half a yard to deliver. And this example is the perfect one of that. And I think probably the difference when you see him getting in these positions, it's easier for him to create assists, it's easier for him to create momentum for himself, and it's easier to gain from the fact the opposition, then double-edged sword, are on the back foot.
Absolutely, I completely agree. But that was last season. This is this season. There's been a lot of talk that Mo Salah isn't being in the same position, isn't making those runs, isn't getting his body language right, isn't prepared to run in behind. But I think we found an awful lot of clips that suggest he has been and has been trying to. This is a ball that goes forward. If that ball is flicked on by Isak, he's potentially in position to go and flick that ball forward. You see, just that little dart again. Goes above running side, just in case Caicedo makes a mistake. He doesn't. Ball goes backwards. And Liverpool now keep possession of the ball. But again, look at that position. Look at the body position. Exactly where you'd want Mo Salah to see the ball. Ball goes back. So just run that into McAllister. Touch. I think Trent could have actually played that pass there. Had it been on, they don't. It's McAllister on the ball. Just as you run it on. This moment now, that Mo Salah, hand in the air, saying, body position. Cucurella's got his eyes on him. So he's not even ready to turn his body and run behind. If that pass, which is a simple pass for someone like McAllister, is played in, we would see the very best of Mo Salah. What actually happens is Liverpool play a lot of short passes, the ball's moved out wide, and Mo Salah is getting the ball in the position now where he's receiving it more often. Not here, where you want him to get the ball, in these positions out wide. And that's becoming frustrating for him, Glenn. It would become frustrating if you're no longer in position to score goals, but it's a recurring theme, Rachel.
It is, and there is so much context to this, and this is more of looking at what we saw, you know, last season when he openly came out. He said, I've been told I can spend most energy going forward. So, you know, this is him here in these positions. And you can see he's half tracking. He's clearly not tracking Cucurella closely, but he's sort of anticipating, I'm going to rely on the back four.
But that's normal for Mo Salah, isn't it?
Change, is it?
Yeah, so this is what we used to see, and this is what we're expecting. He's already thinking, he's having a little look, and he's ready for the moment when we win the ball back. And this is a situation where Liverpool normally thrive on. And we're going to see in a minute, he's going to turn and he's going to want to come into this sort of space here. So as we run it on, you see he spins, he's ready, he anticipates, he does well, he keeps the ball for the team. This is where you're now dealing with a lot of players. You know, we spoke about, yes, there's the Jota situation and the personal tragedy. They're of course miss him on the pitch. But then when you look at the other front three, you've got Wirtz, who's new, Ekitike, who's come in, not played, Isak, who's new. In this exact example, Wirtz, as we just seen, goes into the space where Mo Salah thrives. And not only that, it then means by the time we run it on and we see him get the ball, he obviously gives Wirtz a shout and he leaves it in the end. Had Wirtz just allowed Mo Salah to go and get that, you're potentially talking about Wirtz being down the throat, centre forward in the middle of the goal. That becomes a threatening situation.
And also, he wouldn't be there. So it's a one-on-one situation, isn't it?
And instead, you know, and I think last point we haven't made is this here is, of course, young centre-back, Chimpong. As a young centre-back against one of the best wingers, the most dangerous players in the world, that's a very uncomfortable position. Once again, there's no real threat. Wirtz is still sort of trying to get out the way of Salah. He doesn't have the space you'd expect him to have. And again, this could have been a scenario of we were just bending a ball in here, asking questions. Instead, Mo Salah can't do that because the players aren't in a position to receive it.
No, he can't. So we are seeing themes that Mo Salah is used to. I mean, he ends up passing this one backwards. A couple of cases of the ball not coming in, a couple of cases in people getting in his way, but there's loads of different reasons as well, Glenn.
Yeah, this one I really like, because I believe if this is Trent or somebody with that passing ability, and we mentioned before, didn't we, that Mo Salah, you've got to make him run sometimes, as you do all forwards. We can be lazy at times. Then this is the run, isn't it? And with no pressure on the ball, I fully expect to find that space, getting behind, and then all of a sudden you're playing transitional football. You're hitting the box. You're dangerous. Play it. Eventually finds that place once again where he doesn't want to be, really, and this is where the frustration's coming from, turns out, and he's just getting crowded out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's easy to say it keeps happening, but just keep your eye on Mo Salah on this one, as that ball is potential. We've seen Van Dijk play that pass many, many times. Again, you're talking about forcing people to go in there. He's kind of saying, I've got my body position. Can we be brave? Can we go inside? That's the kind of pass I'm used to receiving. And again, as happens a lot this season, he finds himself in these positions. Liverpool want to play to feet. Liverpool aren't really risking the ball that much. When it was Trent in the team, he was the player that risked the ball. As it is, everybody else just plays safe football, situations in, and then getting frustrated with Mo Salah that he can't manage to create something.
I think just even to add to that, we talk about the numbers because that's what we scrutinise, and I think Liverpool have nobody in an attacking position. So many players always under the ball that even if he does get a half yard here, there's nothing to deliver into.
Absolutely not. And so, you know, looking at these moments, do you feel that this is Mo Salah not performing the way he could or the way he has been, Glenn? Or do you think this is Liverpool's new style or Liverpool's lack of risking the ball in certain situations that is causing the issue?
Well, this is just another one, and we've highlighted the point so many times now. If this is Canate in the ball, he's not known for his passing ability. If it's someone maybe with slightly better passing ability, then this is another option. But I think this is the tactics. He finds himself further and further out on this right hand side. I suppose when you look at it, they're not looking to get him in behind for some reason. He does well here. He actually wins a corner in the end. But again, look, no one's really in the box. They've got a couple of players in the box, one on the edge. Where's that transitional Liverpool gone? It's much slower, more passive, taking longer to get there. Therefore, defences are further back. There's less space to run and beyond. So it's a whole concoction of, I suppose, styles.
I agree with that. I think that one kind of makes a case for Mo Salah being right. I think this now, with the chances he still managed to get, would certainly create a case for his manager, Arne Slot, to be right. Because we're still talking about a player of Mo Salah's ability, Rachel, that if he's getting these chances, you expect the majority of these to be goals.
Yeah, and that's the one when the ball does come. You know, that ball we're asking why they're not playing it. They do play it there, doesn't take it. You'd say the keeper does well. This one is a much worse miss, you would say. He's got to hit the target there. Again, I think some of these are harsh.
I think what we're looking at a player that is ultimately low on confidence, and just in these moments where we would have seen a little bit of calmness and composure, he's getting slightly snatchy, and that's through a desperation want to do well, not being in the position as often as he would have liked and what he's used to. I mean, this one he's kind of stumbling into. At the moment, just nothing will go right with him, and obviously, hence the outburst at the weekend. It's difficult for him because the team aren't set up to play for him. I mean, this one, he does almost everything right. It goes a yard past the post. I think the chances that are being created for him are not as good as what he's used to being. But yeah, I mean, slightly underwhelming. But I think a low on confidence, Mo Salah. If he's confident and he's getting plenty of chances, I think a lot of those go in the back of the net. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think I see his frustration. I can see why he's upset. I can also see if, you know, he's not tracking back in the manner that he is, why his manager is now not getting the balance at the other end of the pitch. He's not scoring the goals to justify those numbers. And that's why the manager's keeping him out. He did say, didn't he, in his frustration, that he thought he'd have longer. He thinks he's the scapegoat and that he feels that he should still be in the team for all he's done. 11 games starts this season before he's the player that's left out. Not Van Dijk and Canate. Yes, there are mitigating circumstances with them because they haven't really got any changes to make there. But he feels it's all come on in. Is 11 games enough?
Yes, 11 games is enough, and I think he'll be the first to admit in the calmness of an environment, away from the disappointment of the draw at Leeds, he probably will say my numbers aren't good, but there's context behind that. It's where I'm getting the ball. It's the slow play. It's the passing ability of the team to a certain extent. It's the lack of willingness to put it beyond. As far as Mo Salah's concerned, I don't think you can really defend him because obviously, like I said, no football doesn't stand still for anybody. You're always critiqued, whether you're one of the greatest that has ever been at the football club. And I think it is unlucky because I think it's a very insular perspective. I think everyone's been criticised at the football club. I don't think he's been criticised more than anyone else. And when, like you said, when Canate and Van Dijk are getting criticised, there's no other centre-backs at the football club, unfortunately, whereas this man, there's reinforcements.
Well, he has been criticised. He has been left out of the team. So against Leeds in particular, this was new-look Liverpool. Szoboszlai playing from the right. How did you feel Liverpool looked? Did that balance defensively look better? Talk us through it.
Well, I think without doubt, it looks better defensively, but that isn't really what you want your right midfielder or right wing forward to do, is it? We see it's Szoboszlai is. I'll pause it when he wins the ball back, because he's a really honest player. You can't criticise him. This is what you would expect a midfielder playing at right back to do, isn't it? Right midfielder to do. That's Szoboszlai winning the ball, but obviously with that work ethic, that's kind of the space that Mo Salah would take up. And actually, in all honesty, this is quite a good attack by Liverpool. They get good numbers forward, they keep the ball, and they try and hurt Leeds. But we'll see a couple more instances where it's a little bit more apparent that there's no one on that right wing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, obviously, with him not being able to do that defensively, is Arne Slot happy with the defensive attitude that he's getting, a defensive balance compared to the lack of output on the right-hand side, as we see? You know, Liverpool in this moment, nobody out there on the right-hand side. There's Szoboszlai. Is he going to be okay with that?
Well, I think if you choose to play him in that position as almost the supposed right winger, then I think what you are sort of saying is that you end up protecting, you know, this is the area that they essentially become solid, because almost they have a few more players in that area. He'll naturally come into there and pick up the ball.
Yeah, that's Szoboszlai. That's your right midfielder there.
Which I think is the right thing to do with him if you're choosing to play him in place of Salah, because that is where he's most dangerous. He potentially will create you the best opportunities. When you look at the numbers, he's probably been a player, you'd say, work rate wise, he's done one of the most. Numbers wise, he's contributed to goals, creating chances. So I can understand you're choosing to play him on the right, but you're still going to ask him to come do a central job. So I think that's what you expect.
But then, so if you're going to play him there, would you expect a Frimpong to play that's going to offer you more width going forward and more of a direct runner with him?
Probably, yes. And I think the fact that both Bradley and Frimpong have been injured have also heightened the fact they've had this issue on the right-hand side, which also has contributed to Salah's numbers, consistency, familiarity. And that's, I think, to your point, there's context to the numbers we show. You know, last season Salah was almost like flawless. The number of games he started, Champions League, Cup games, league games.
Well, you could argue the last 6 years.
Yes, you could. And in some ways, there was inevitably going to be a moment those numbers potentially faltered to some degree. And I think to your point as well, I don't feel he's had more criticism. I just think he hears his own criticism maybe more than others.
Yeah, that's fair. So, who's going to be the winner? I mean, when it comes to this, because, you know, this is...
We'll find out
this is
midweek,
another
won't we?
clip for Liverpool's balance. This is where Mo Salah would be. That's the kind of pass... And Ronnie's good to me. That's the kind of moment I think Liverpool have in the past taken advantage.
And that's Szoboszlai.
And that's Szoboszlai. And if you keep your eye on Szoboszlai, there's no...
Mohamed Salah's 2025 to 2026 season has become a study in frustration and tension. Once the undisputed talisman, his output has dipped compared with last year, and his relationship with Arne Slot has publicly frayed after recent benchings and a blunt interview in which Salah admitted strains with the manager. Form-wise, Salah's numbers this campaign are noticeably down from his peak. Many outlets report a reduced goal involvement and a slower start to the season, which has only amplified scrutiny as Liverpool struggle for consistent results. The fallout escalated when Liverpool omitted Salah from their travelling squad for a Champions League tie, a move framed by the club as a temporary measure to manage squad harmony after his public comments. That decision and surrounding media reaction have pushed the story beyond performance into the realm of dressing room politics. Behind the headlines, there remain complicating but important facts. Salah still holds a legendary status at Anfield, has hit major club milestones in recent seasons, and remains capable of decisive match-winning contributions. Team leaders have signalled they want him around, suggesting a path back into the fold if tensions cool and form returns. Looking ahead, the situation is binary for both player and club. Salah can either recalibrate his public stance and rediscover the level that made him indispensable, or the rupture with Slot, combined with offers and speculation, could precipitate a January exit or longer absence. For Liverpool, managing a world-class star amid a tricky season is now as crucial as tactics on the pitch.